me. I said, excuse me. Man, it's your round, Packboy Dolo. Checking in with another episode of the Round the Clock Thinker Show, man. I'm feeling extremely smooth today, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? If you want to click away, then fuck it, go ahead. You know, I be trying a lot of different things to try to grow the podcast and, you know, do this or do that to make it to where we grow and get this information out there. But you know what? Today is one of those days. It's so chill. Well, I'm feeling like, you know what? Fuck it. It's no perfect. It's no perfect. You know, the consistency itself is perfect. Even when you're not consistent all the time, but you know how to come back and then be consistent again, that's perfect. Why do I say that? Because here's why. Nobody has a perfect score in life. We're about to talk about it, man. If you're new here, I go by Packboy Dolo, as you can see. You see Pack right here on my hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can. There we go. P-A-C-K right there. You dig? Got Pack on a hoodie. I got wolves everywhere in here. The wolf is an intelligent animal. And that's pretty much what I represent. So we rebranding and we really trying to do it how we want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Got the wolf cup right here, man. You dig? Sipping V8 Splash right now, you dig? And I just wanted to talk about how nobody has a perfect score in life. You know, we go through life a lot of times trying to be perfect cause you to get further away from perfect, you know, and accepting where you're at is actually one of the hardest things to do. As simple as it sounds, you know. So we go through that phase of comparison because there's people around us who's putting on a facade as if they're perfect. You know, they're putting on a facade as if they're perfect and that everything is good, when in reality is not. AKA, you go on Instagram and you compare yourself to someone on a social media site. You see what I'm saying? You compare yourself to somebody like that when all you see is what they claim to be perfect. That's all they're posting. They don't post their bad days. They don't post that they're going through challenges at home. They just post the perfect moments. And then it puts off an illusion on you to have you think that they're living perfect and that's how you should live. It's a horrible trap. And it causes people to question themselves, you know. So there's one piece. I have many scenarios and examples, and today I'm just freestyling. Actually, I'm just freestyling, man. It's raining outside, the breeze is flowing in here. I got the window open. I'm just freestyling today. It's a situation where You could imagine the growth that goes on with people. Let's tap into that. Those who grow usually they're only growing because they have the desire to grow. Now, in rare cases, they have no choice but to grow. But usually it's because they have a deep desire to grow. They've accepted that growth typically means pain. Typically could mean confusion, or perhaps it could mean insecurity, abandonment. Growth could mean biting your tongue when you usually would just fly off the handle. When you usually would just tell somebody a piece of your mind. Growth is you not saying anything this time. Letting that urge go. One of the hardest things to do, trust me, I've been through it. So growth in itself, that's an imperfect score. That is not a perfect score. The consistency of growing, you could label it perfect. Like I said in my book, To Pretty Much Understand It. Right? You could label these things to be perfect. By your definition, by you putting a label on it. Because you find what you find perfect is you continuing to come back to the drawing board when things get hard, and you're growing in increments, and you say that's perfect, and you don't allow yourself to be under an illusion that more is perfect. No, what you're doing is perfect. You're growing in small increments. Even the mistake is perfect because it's learnable. This is data, information that you can learn from, that you can look at, and it reflects you in it. And when you're dedicated to growing, you're willing to look at that and be like, okay, I'm ready to make the adjustment. I see the adjustment that I need to make. Let's bring it back. Next time it happens, I've made the adjustment. Let's see what happens. If it happens again, I'm going to continue to work on fixing that part. I found what I need to work on. And these things take time. They don't happen overnight. That's perfect. You've made a decision to grow in an aspect where you personally didn't know you needed to grow. Right? That's perfect. That's a perfect score. Right? It's not really perfect when nothing's going wrong. It's not really perfect when you're not growing at all or shit's not going down, because what are we learning from? What's life about? It's no fun in not having to adjust. Now, it's pieces where you can have bragging rights. You know what I'm saying? For example, you can say, yeah, me and my old lady, we don't argue. We don't argue. We have conversations and discussions. at a high level of respect and patience and admiration for one another. We don't argue and call each other names and fucking push each other out the way to walk out the door. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's a good thing to say. But even that in itself took growth to get there. And even when it happens, when the discussions happen, it's still challenging to go over the edge and be a little bit louder or be mean, or you see what I'm saying? It's still the urge there, of course. It's an urge there, but it doesn't happen because of the control that has been established through constant practice, through constantly growing, going through these things, and then adjusting, and then going through these things again, and then adjusting, and being able to put your ego to the side, your self-importance to the side, and think about others too. And if both of you are doing that, then it'll put you in a good spot to find a solution when it needs to be a solution found. So that piece right there, yeah, awesome, right? But in that same situation, you can have a guy who is used to being alone. He spent many years pretty much just on some bachelor type shit, you know, just him and his energy and no kids. And then when he wasn't satisfied with the company that the young lady was keeping with him, he could just say, okay, goodbye. And then he could walk over and grab her purse and open the door and guide her out and tell her drive safe. You know what I'm saying? Or he could just, like, you know, see a message where shorty tripping and not respond. She's nowhere near him. He's not obligated to respond to that. You'll never hear from him again. But once this same gentleman gets in a situation where he deemed a young lady worthy of his leadership and his consistency and his effort to adjust, his effort to see deeper into things because of the high level of admiration and respect and adjustability that the young lady holds herself, right? That puts him in a position to have to tap in. He have to be in tune and tap in. He have to adjust. So if this young lady deserves to be around, deserves to have his time, his attention, his kid, so then she end up pregnant, right? Now he has a certain level of responsibility and obligation to be in that situation, so he can't just say goodbye and then, you know what I'm saying? He have to know how to not necessarily negotiate, but communicate his needs to her while also being mindful of her needs when she has a high level of emotional and hormone what's the word I'm looking for? Emotional and hormone. Is it saturation? Let me look it up, cause y'all know I like to be precise. We getting deep here, man. We talking that shit. If you still here, shout out to you, because you understand what's really going on, man. You understand. Okay, so no, saturation is not the word I'm looking for. Okay, we're gonna be spot on. Hold on 1 second. Let me take this call. Hello? Hey. Yeah, I was shooting the show, but I just turned the mic down, so yeah, go. Okay, so the word I was looking for was fluctuation. I'm pretty sure it just came to me when I walked off. Right. Rising and falling irregularly in number or amount. Right. So a high level of fluctuation. It takes a lot of growth, a lot of trial and error for this gentleman to maintain in that new position, in that way. Right? But there's if things are being worked on and being improved, that's perfect. It doesn't deem it perfect if things seem to be perfect already by the, no adjustments, nothing having to be done, right? You're able to put perfect, the perfect label on it, and that's signaled, right? A sign of that, of perfect for your label, is the growth. It's the up and down, the adjustments, the things that you have to do in order to continue to put certain personal challenges behind you, and the awareness that you have during this whole time. This was perfect, right? So I said all that to say, man, no one has a perfect score in life. And if they say they do, then they're lying. And even the most, pristine person you could think of, the most strategic, just everything about them up to par. I guarantee you one thing: they will not label themselves perfect. They'll tell you, man, look, I work on this shit every day. They'll tell you every day it takes adjusting. Every day, you know, it takes awareness. Not every day, you know, they may not have to catch themselves, but some days they have to catch themselves and reorder what they were about to do. They have to reestablish, reset. Okay, hold on. I was about to backtrack into old patterns. Let me remember what I know and let me get back to the growth that I deem perfect, you know, and not beat themselves up for, oh damn, I just fucked up, so, you know, now I'm not perfect anymore. No. Because thinking that way and trying to be perfect in that way is what causes you to go further away from it. Because every time a little mishap happens, it's a plunge at you. It takes a big chunk out of the progress that you made. But when you're like, okay, consistency is perfect, progress is perfect, mistakes are perfect, growth is perfect, as long as I'm going that way, a little mishap, hiccup here and there don't even matter. I'm going that way, and that's perfect. Man, it's your Ron Pat Boy Dolo checking out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, man. Hit the notification bell, man. Look, we dropping these videos out to you, and like I said, look, man, I was so fucking chill today. I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna be, you know, trying to make the first 10 seconds just, you know, create a hook and be, you know, shit. I be trying stuff. I do. I ain't gonna lie, but this time, look, I just hit record and fell in with some high quality game. That's it, you know, just how I'm feeling. And it's one of the freestyle shows, so you know when I come off the dome, fresh off the press like that, I usually got something to say. But anyway, man, it's your Ron Packboy Dolo checking out. Peace.